consecutive 20-win campaigns, and now they look to cap it off. Year number 7 at Troy, and as we talked about, John, it has been all about consistency. He's had moving parts and pieces throughout that time, but in the end, come March, they're a tough out.
They are. They have a bulletproof system. Coach Cross has done such a fantastic job with this group. I mean, one of the things that they are known for is their pressure defense without gambling. They always do a great job in managing their depth. Even when people are injured, they have a guy that steps up, that next man up mentality, and they are comfortable winning ugly. They are ready for that action.
These two teams met only once during the course of the season. Troy won it in a tight one. 83-78, that was back in January. Oh, how times have changed. The red-hot Georgia Southern team looking for a little bit of history tonight. No program has ever won 6 conference games. Will they be the first, as Troy having some trouble with it, and Spud Webb generating the game's first takeaway. Tyron Moore red hot this week, and he picks up where he left off. Moore, who has been scorching from the outside.
What a start for Georgia Southern, getting some defense going, steal, and then getting some offense right there from Tyron Moore.
Thomas Dowd averaging double-double numbers, the leader of this offense. Couple of underclassmen for the Trojans. Here goes Victor Valdez, gets it to a cutting down. Dowd in a lot of traffic, hovers and hits. A lot of experience with Georgia Southern, all 5 seniors. Tyron Moore, Alden Applewhite have been the 2 main scorers. Burney has been a physical presence inside. Spud Webb coming off his performance last night, powering them into this final.
They just have a ton of diverse players on that roster that can dribble, they can shoot, and they can pass.
One and done for the Eagles. Cooper Campbell gets it over to Dowd. This one a little too strong. Rebound to Valdez, gets it to a slashing Dowd. Beautiful feed. And this is what Bellamy does. He's a flusher.
Yeah, one thing Coach Cross says is that when it touches his hand and he's close to the basket, he is dunking that bad boy. This is why he shoots around 65% from the field.
Good ball rotation. Webb, the natural left-hander. Big jump stop just outside the paint. Applewhite measures up a 3. It's off to the left, no good. And the rebound cleared by Troy. That's going to be a key area in this game as we go deeper. The Trojans really had their way on the glass in the first meeting. They out-rebounded Georgia Southern by 13.
Yeah, and another thing about that game was Georgia Southern started out slow, which Troy was able to give themselves a little bit of buffer and momentum to start that game. But you see how Georgia Southern's starting so far.
Georgia Southern thought they had their hands on another takeaway, but it ended up with an easy hoop underneath for Dowd. Offense for the Eagles, averaging 88 points in this 5-game run in Pensacola. A lot of contact there, and Webb has it pried away.
Yeah, that's one thing that you have to always be cognizant of if you are Georgia Southern playing against
This will be an offensive foul as Thomas Dowd, a little out of control, commits the game's first foul.
Well, he went against a wily defensive veteran and Jefferson Koulibaly, who knows how to use his body, get out in front of you, and there he was able to draw that offensive foul.
John, as you watch Georgia Southern early in this game, what are some signs to show fatigue that their coaches will be dialed in on?
Well, I definitely think they'll be looking at how they pressure on the defensive end. That is their that is their stalwart. If they can create turnovers, if they can create runouts, then they're in good shape. But when they look stagnant defensively, that is when you can tell that the legs are starting to waver a little bit.
Bellamy freed up inside. Troy getting some nice, clean looks under the basket. Moore forces up a 3. Had Campbell in his face. Valdez cannot control the rebound as it ricochets off his fingertips.
And you're just seeing a lot of movement from Troy. They do a great job of sharing the ball, but that was a great outside, inside to Bellamy where he was able to finish on the other side of the basket.
Number 2 in the Sun Belt in assists, team assists, when you talk about Troy and the way they can Really spread the ball around. Very unselfish with this offense. High screen set. They work the pick and roll with Fernie. He zips a pass, and that one too hot to handle for Applewhite. A sizzler goes off his fingertips.
And let me tell you, that is what's so special about this Troy matchup zone. They have really made it tough for teams to get their offensive fluidity going quick.
Year 3 for Charlie Henry, one of the younger coaches in the Sun Belt, 39 years old, son of a longtime high school coach. He would follow his father into the gym after he was picked up back in grade school. So he grew up around a hardwood and a basketball, and he just loves coaching. Has this team peaking at the right time.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job of recruiting the right pieces that make sense for his system. He brings in explosive perimeter scorers, physical downhill guards. He knows how to find the guys that work.
Volley trying to take the lid off the basket, unable to do so. It's a 4-minute scoring drought for Georgia Southern, and now the reach and the foul in the backcourt. Timeout in the action. The production crew here in Pensacola comes to you tonight with heavy hearts. Our producer, Tony DeSanti, passed away overnight. Our thoughts are with his wife, Dot, the DeSanti family, their beloved dogs, and Tony's many friends and colleagues. He will be deeply missed. Troy off to a strong start in the Sun Belt Championship. 8-3, they had the early lead. 4 of 5 shooting from the floor for the Trojans, and they are getting really easy looks underneath.
Yeah, well, one reason why is because they are able to run their half-court sets comfortably. Georgia Southern, known for their defensive pressure that can make defense turn the offense, has not been able to impose their will early like they have been before in this tournament. So they're going to have to find something deep within to put the screws on Troy and make them turn that ball over a little bit.
Tyron Moore with the only field goal for Georgia Southern. That was the first shot of the night for the Eagles. Since then, they have missed their last 7. Georgia Southern's improbable run as the 10 seed. Started with Old Dominion, Arkansas State. They just kept getting hotter and hotter the deeper they went. And last night it was interesting into the semifinals. They did not shoot the ball all that well, yet they were able to overcome it because they got to the foul line.
They did, and they definitely switched their strategy up against a Marshall team that they had beaten already twice, and Marshall had did a good job of guarding the perimeter harder. So I think Georgia Southern did a fantastic job of making that adjustment, attacking the paint using Spud Webb as their catalyst. He gets to the middle of the floor, either he scores it or he draws fouls.
Both teams going to the bench. Carrington Keel, a sophomore from Birmingham, checks in for Troy. Tyree Dunn, Nicavian White, 2 instrumental bench players into the game for Georgia Southern. Here comes the coach's son, Austin Cross, as well.
He's got a coach's son face, doesn't he?
He really does.
He looks like he has been coached hard his entire life. Held accountable. That's a held accountable face.
Redshirt freshman. Opportunity to play for his father. High stakes tonight. Trip to the NCAA's on the line. Nicavian White able to get the fake and the basket. Bellamy left his feet, and a chance for the 3-point play.
And Nicavian White, he's a guy that fills gaps everywhere. You could see in times in this season where his team was starting to waver a little bit, and he's the guy that can try to find ways to fill that void by scoring the ball and defending at a high clip.
He has played a lot of basketball between his junior college days and last couple of years with Georgia Southern. Over 1,400 career points, closing in on 600 rebounds. And the part of his game I've always appreciated is court vision.
Yeah, absolutely. I love his game. He's a downhill guy. He can mix you up. He can attack the basket. And when he gets hot, don't let him start making threes. That's when he's really dangerous.
He was the tone setter in the regular season finale against Marshall on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. He was hitting big shots, getting to the basket. He was drawing fouls. He's a special player that comes off the bench and doesn't create any drop-off.
Cooper Campbell to trigger in. Dowd off the double team. Here goes Keel, tight roping the baseline. Beautiful feed inside. Bellamy had a block by a couple of Eagles. Last touched by Georgia Southern.
Yeah, you could see this was by committee for Georgia Southern to make sure that Bellamy didn't have any daylight at the basket in that last possession.
Looked like it was White who got a hand on it. Bellamy picked up by Bernie. Backdoor cut. There's Dowd with the left hand.
Great slip action for Dowd. You can see that Georgia Southern is putting a lot of pressure on the perimeter passing, and Dowd was able to switch, give himself some openings to get an easy layup there.
Cross coming out very tightly with Moore. Gets some help from Bellamy. Here's Dunn for three. Off the front, no. Quick moving first half. Dowd wanting some movement. He'll create a shot off the dribble. 15-footer, too strong. Second chance opportunity. Cross along the baseline. Dowd again. Not a lot of real estate. Back out. Cross for three. It won't fall. And the rebound corralled by Bernie.
I'm mad at those two possessions where Troy was able to move the ball, shift the defense of Georgia Southern, and get a high percentage shot both times.
Once again, attacking inside is White. He has 5 off the bench.
He can be an offensive initiator for this team. It's very tough to deal with on a consistent basis.
A lone returnee for Georgia Southern, so they have really relied on him as a veteran. Tyron Moore went away from the program for a year. He's back. Count it, and the foul. Boy, they are just tearing up Georgia Southern in the lane. Bellamy to the foul line for the chance at the old-fashioned three.
Doing a great job of utilizing Bellamy. Nice slip action there. He's able to draw the foul on Dunn. Now he's going to the line, giving himself the ability to get an and one opportunity.
Bellamy over the last 3 games, averaging 20 points per contest, 10 block shots. He had 6 of those blocks in the semifinal against Southern Miss. He was a spot role player pretty much throughout the course of the regular season, but all of a sudden he has just taken off.
He's just taking advantage of what's been given to him in this situation. Unfortunately, Theo Singh had an injury, and because of that, he had to step up and fill that void of that position, and he's done a great job so far.
Dunn locates. Here is Moore for 3. Long rebound. Good hustle by Dunn as he kept it alive. Kyrie Dunn goes baseline, pumps on the brakes. Troy really active defensively. White got caught up into the air, and that'll be a walk. Dowd came flying at him at the last second, and that threw off Nicavian White.
This Trojan team looks like a pack of wild dogs. They're everywhere. It felt like there were 6 jerseys on the floor at all times.
Scott Cross and the Trojans won this tournament last year as a 3 seed. This year trying to defend the top seed. Bring home back-to-back Sun Belt crowns. Valdez weaving his way through the blue. All kept alive inside. Second chance opportunity. Look at Dowd working his tail off, but unable to save it.
Yeah, Dowd is a warrior down there. He understands the importance of keeping the ball alive and creating second and third chance opportunities for his teammates to eventually get into an offensive rhythm.
You know, there are certain instincts with players which make them special rebounding the basketball, especially on the offensive end, and Thomas Dowd has all of those check marks. White for 3, rainbows it up. One and done once again. Evan Griffin, the big body, 6'9", 230-pound freshman, seeing some early time.
Yeah, he has to. I mean, he is taking Bellamy's minutes now, where he's going to have to be somebody that imposes his will when he gets in and produces productive minutes.
Dowd waited for the last possible moment, crashes the miss, gets clobbered by White, and he'll go to the foul line for a couple of shots. Relentless on the glass. It was an area they owned in the first meeting. Cross and the Trojans, a strong start from Pensacola.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let's build a retirement and benefits plan that works for your team. Earlier today, James Madison hoisted the hardware here in Pensacola. They put the final piece of the puzzle onto the bracket. They sealed their future here in a couple of weeks as they get ready to compete for a national championship. Congratulations to James Madison, your Sun Belt champions. Well, they went to the table and they have upgraded that last foul to a flagrant one. So White gets tagged with the foul, so this will be a couple of free throws.
The play has been upgraded to a flagrant foul, penalty 1 on Georgia Southern, number 5.
So 2 free throws in the ball for Troy, and this is a dangerous juncture for Georgia Southern. They really don't have a rhythm offensively. 3 of 12 from the floor. They're getting decimated on the glass. What's going to be the remedy right now to weather the storm?
Yeah, they're just going to have to be solid on defense. They're going to have to start creating some chaos. They have to make sure that they put a body on players like Dowd, driving him back and limiting Troy to one-and-done possessions offensively.
Thomas Dowd coming off a first-team All-Sun Belt performance this year. He led the conference in rebounds. He's among the nation's leaders in double-doubles this year. He has been active. 8 early points, 3 rebounds for Dowd. They get the ball right back. Dowd, the 6'8" junior, off to Valdez. Valdez spots Keel. Kander puts it up. Ball kept alive, but it's tipped out to Spud Webb. Webb, coming off a 31-point semifinal game, has been quiet early on tonight. They make the extra pass to White. Into a triple team, you just can't take it in there, and it's another takeaway.
Yeah, Troy's defense, they do a great job of imploding their defense once they see a drive happen. It's just really tough to score on them if they're not spread.
Three-pointer by Dowd. And it's cleared out of there by Sotirov, and a loose ball foul on Carrington Keel. Kubali and Shannon Carter back into the Georgia Southern lineup. Here comes Kobe Campbell for Troy. Good work off the bench once again by White. He exits with a team-high 5 points. Zone defense giving Georgia Southern some trouble. Dunn will try to shoot him out of it, and that's what you do against this type of defense. Kyrie Dunn.
Yeah, the more Troy continued to pack in that defense, the more openings it would be on that perimeter, but you have to prove it to Troy that you can make it. That will spread out that defense a little bit more and make driving lanes a lot easier to take.
Dunn has been their three-point specialist off the bench. Again, uncontested basket near the rim for Cross.
And Cross able to take advantage of a bad closeout, get all the way to the basket, play off of 2 feet and finish.
It's a 14-4 advantage in the paint for Troy. One of the rare instances where we're going deep into the shot clock. Webb looking to isolate on Valdez. Spud Webb hovers, can't get the roll. And the 4th rebound of the night for Dowd.
You mentioned deep into the shot clock. That's something that Georgia Southern does not want to do. They want to get to their offense as quickly as possible, but Troy is forcing them to have to play late into that shot clock, slowing down their pace.
They led the conference in 3-point shots attempted. There's a quick trigger 3 by Cross. Neither team shooting it well from the outside. Webb trying to get to the foul line. No whistle. Rebound inside to Coulibaly.
And Spud Webb went in. A lot of contact there.
Webb thought he should be shooting free throws. They will get it on the jump ball, alternating possession. So Georgia Southern down 7. Webb will turn and face. Still looking for his first bucket tonight. Kicks it out high. Here's Applewhite. He loves this spot. In and out, no good. Victor Valdez with the left hand, little Euro step action, and he curls it in softly.
That Valdez kid is smooth. I tell you what, I mean, he does a fantastic job of playing at one of the slowest paces I've ever seen, but be effective at it. Coach Cross compares him to Luka.
Yeah, he does. Same type of body, very good court vision as far as distributing the ball. Gets caught up into the air. Webb along the right baseline attacks it, gets it back out to Moore. Moore, who's been the quarterback and the floor general during this course of the week, really throughout the regular season, is a shot clock violation. Just no openings to attack, and the Troy bench and their large contingency all fired up.
Yeah, it is very difficult to beat and break down that zone of Troy. They have mastered it and made it extremely difficult for offenses to really get any circulation going. They make it tough for ball reversals. They close out with their hands up. They meet you on the catch. And then when you drive, it's never a straight line drive. You're running into 2 more jerseys with one on top of your hip.
How good has that zone been in this first half? The Georgia Southern team averaging 88 points this week, has 11. Here's Koulibaly, and that's what he does. Quick hands, defensive specialist.
And Andres Burney did a fantastic job of creating chaos for Bellamy down there.
They just cannot buy a basket from beyond the arc. Long 3 by Kobe Campbell. Pinball strong. Here comes Koulibaly, an opportunity to run, but Troy gets back defensively. Good transition defense.
Yeah, they've mastered that, and even though you would think that they wouldn't be as good as transition defense because they crash 4 to the basket at all times.
Breaking the action, 7:11 to go in this first half. Offense a little rusty right now. Both teams still trying to find their stroke. It's ESPN's Champ Week presented by Principal, and the action continues tonight. Teams compete for the right to play for the WCC Championship. First up, Gonzaga takes on Oregon State at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Then St. Mary's plays Santa Clara, 11:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Who's in, who's out right now? The last 4 in with bracketology from our Joe Lenardi. Santa Clara, SMU, VCU, Auburn with the SEC schedule. Right now he has Indiana, the Hokies, Stanford, and New Mexico on the wrong side of the 60-18 field. So much to sort out over the next few days. One of the questions coming in, who will represent the Sun Belt? Winner of this game gets their automatic spot into the NCAAs. Troy knows what it's like. They were the Sun Belt representative last year, lost to Kentucky in the first round. Hoping to get back. A lot of new faces from the offseason. They lost Tate and Connerway, the Sun Belt Player of the Year, Miles Rigsby, Jackson Fields. The cross is reloaded, deep into the shot clock again. And Moore shot that one pretty much from Statesboro.
Yeah, but this Troy team that I'm seeing this year is extremely connected. I thought more connected than last year offensively and defensively, which is why they've had the ability to beat some teams that most people would assume they couldn't hang with. I mean, we got to call that Akron game, and we know how good Akron is. I mean, San Diego State, you got to see them play against them, and then a very controversial loss to, who was it?
USC.
USC, exactly. Right. And so those types of teams that they are able to hang with, it makes them deadly. If they win this tournament, in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that was a real productive trip to the West Coast. They beat San Diego State in overtime. They lost to the Trojans in triple OT. Webb will launch. Again, well short. Georgia Southern just 2 of 12 in this first half from beyond the arc.
Yeah, cold as ice right now.
Campbell cuts off his dribble. Now a bad pass into the backcourt. Here is Bernie. Showtime, and let's see if this ignites the Eagles.
That's exactly what Georgia Southern needed. They haven't really been able to get anything consistently in the half court, but when they are at their best, it is when their defense can lead the offense. They get high percentage shots. That's what you have to do. You have to get defensive stops to get yourself into an offensive rhythm.
Georgia Southern with a version of their half-court zone. Campbell gets Webb to leave his feet. A rainbow shot kisses off the rim and in.
I'll tell you something, that Cooper Campbell is extremely gifted. Coach Cross talked about recruiting him and how at first he was a little unsure, but just as he continued to watch him play, he grew on him because of how hard he played, how smart he was. His IQ out there on the floor is impressive.
Spud Webb buries it. Georgia Southern within 6.
Yeah, in the open, we talked about Spud being able to get to the basket and get to the line, but he's able to do that because he is a threat from that three-point line.
Webb was the first guy that Charlie Henry went after this offseason. He was their first signee from the transfer portal, and Dow gets the trifecta right back.
Yeah, that's a lot of time for Dow to get his feet set. He's missed a couple this game, but as he gets into a rhythm, you can't continue to let him have those types of shots.
Damian White follows it over to Webb. White for 3. And this is what Georgia Southern does. This is no surprise. They live and die with the three-point shot. Nobody shot more during the course of the regular season. This week, though, they have been reining them in. A little bit of a different story in this championship game. Dowd took an extra step. That'll be turnover number 7 for the Trojans.
Yeah, and you can see that Georgia Southern is starting to wake it up a little bit defensively. That's where they're going to have to make their money out there, is getting those stops against Troy and making this into a game where they can get some stops from time to time, get some runouts, and then get themselves going.
Moore bounces it. Kearney stops at the elbow. Webb looking for 2 in a row. Can't get it. Dowd hovers high for the rebound. Good pass. It's the Red Mambas running the floor.
It's like they have ESP or something.
Brotherly love on the transition. Kobe and Cooper Campbell. Bernie, despite the contact from Dowd. Dowd took that one in the jaw. Pace picking up a little bit as we wind down this first half. Southern continuing to mix up their defensive looks. Now back into the man. Campbell, a little bit of daylight.
Cooper Campbell has an elite floater. He knows how to get that thing high over outstretched arms. You can tell, being a smaller player, you have to have that in your game.
Screen set by Bernie. Moore comes back to the ball. Campbell will draw his assignment. Kobe Campbell. Tyron Moore stops on the dime. Leans in. Too strong. Dowd with his wide wingspan. Here they come. Campbell for 3.
You love to see it. These Campbell brothers are getting after it. Really starting to take over this game. See there, open floor opportunity. Campbell to Campbell for the layup. Another open floor opportunity. After that, you see it. Kobe Campbell knocking down the big time 3.
right, thank you, gentlemen. And the Campbell crew is getting hot late in this first half. Scott Campbell was one of the coaches that Scott brought in this offseason, and the two sons, both Kobe and Cooper. But John, they might not be the best basketball players in the family. Wife Bree played at Oregon, while her daughter Kaya, who's also here, there's Kaya, she plays high school literally right across the street from Troy University, and she is being heavily recruited.
It's like keeping up with the Campbells out here, man. I mean, you've got a very talented family. I could just imagine how competitive those kitchen tables are. Who can eat their food the fastest? Don't let them get playing in Uno. I feel like it could get real treacherous out here.
Campbell brothers combining for 11 points in this first half on 4 of 5 shooting. This is a dangerous juncture right now if you're Georgia Southern. Down 14, you were weathering the storm a little bit, but all of a sudden, Troy connected on their last 5 field goals. So very big moment over the next couple of minutes. Here's our ESPN NBA Wednesday doubleheader. Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs get ready to take on Orlando. 7:30 Eastern. Then it's the Joker and the Nuggets hosting KD and the Rockets. The NBA Countdown Crew tip-off coverage begins at 7. Cooper Campbell handling the ball. Victor Valdez, the junior who grew up in Monterrey, Mexico, and that is too easy if you're Georgia Southern.
Yeah, and I love that action that Troy just ran. It's normally for Kobe to come out of an Iverson cut and try to catch and shoot a 3, but that time he just kept the curl tight, was able to catch and finish at the basket.
We have seen this Georgia Southern team quite a bit this year. As you see the slip there by Campbell, and Valdez made sure to find him. It seems like when the Eagles need a basket, when things are going south, they're taking in water. It's number 5 who steps up, Nicavian White. He's such a stabilizer for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And he understands when to take the game into his hands. And he does a fantastic job, just like Spud Webb, at getting to the line. Getting to the line is so efficient for you because you can stop the clock. You can get yourself rested. You make a couple of free throws, and then you can get back on set defense.
White connects on both free throws. 7 to lead Georgia Southern. 12-point Troy lead. We approach 90 seconds to go in this first half. Good quick hands reaching around was White to tap it away, just as it looked like Campbell had a little bit of a step. Webb then has his pocket pick. Troy has the numbers. It's a 4-on-2. Valdez draws the foul.
Yeah, that's what Valdez does. He knows how to draw a foul. See here, Troy getting in the open floor. Cooper Campbell finds him, gets him to the line.
Valdez, an all-conference player this year, grew up in Monterrey, Mexico, started playing basketball when he was 7 years old. He joined an academy in Monterrey, really developed a skill, built a passion for the sport. Then he had an opportunity. He was 15 years old. He had a rare chance to go overseas to Europe, to Spain. He jumped on that, then his skills really took off. And he talked about he has that body of a Luka. A lot of the similar skill sets, and he has fit in well with what Scott Cross does and the type of offense they play.
Yeah, I mean, he's averaging 15 a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He can impact the game all over the floor offensively because he can score, he can pass. He knows how to get guys involved.
Bodies crashing, Keel got a piece of White.
Yeah, you can see Keel was not happy with that. A lot of physicality on the meat of the catch, which that's what you want. You want to meet guys like Nicavian White on the catch so he doesn't have space to get downhill and drive to the basket.
Still no bonus for either team. 16 fouls for Troy. Georgia Southern sitting with 5. And a 30-second timeout taken by Charlie Henry and Georgia Southern. What a year it has been for the Eagles, advancing to the Sun Belt Championship for the first time since 2015. They have their work cut out, down 14. .53 seconds to go in this first half. Troy has pretty much led from the start. Tyron Moore hit an early 3. That was Georgia Southern's only lead. It's been the Trojans since. 14 has been their largest lead, and that's where it sits right now. Let's see what Henry and the Eagles script after the timeout.
Yeah, they're probably going to try to get a ball screen action, try to hit the roll man, see if they can get something in the middle of the floor.
Three-pointer is good by Sotirov. He's now 8 of 16 from beyond the arc this week in Pensacola. He has elevated his game.
He really has, with a great inside-out action. Acavian White was able to get to the middle of the floor, get used as a decoy, draw secondary defenders, pitch out to Sotirov, and he knocks down that 3.
Cooper Campbell, 6 on the clock. Here is Dowd leaning in with the left hand, and he gets it to go to close out the first half.
And you see Dowd looking at that left hand. He's been working, you can tell. He's gonna go into this half with a lot of energy. You see here, able to use that pivot, get to a Kobe spin, and kiss it off the glass. What a finish.
Double figures for Dowd. He has 13 in the first half. White pacing Georgia Southern with 7. Halftime, the championship of the Sun Belt. Troy looking to defend their title from a year ago. Phil and the gang will be with us when we come back. The Sargento halftime report. Trojans by 13. Basketball action, the climax tonight. The Sun Belt Championship on the line. Troy looking to defend the title from a year ago. They lead by 13 at the break, 38-25. Sean Kinney alongside John Williams. And John, Georgia Southern has an incredible story right now. 5 straight wins. The Sun Belt's never had a double-digit seed plow their way into the title game until this year. Yet they're looking at an uphill battle right now.
It's tough right now, especially when Troy's playing the level of defense that we are seeing out there. They are just really getting whatever they want down there. It started with Bellamy. He was able to impose his will early, dominate the paint, finish at the basket at will, and that opened up everything else for the rest of his teammates. One being Kobe Campbell. He was fantastic in that first half. Everybody knows he can shoot the 3, but he was able to get some action at the basket early. Open floor opportunities eventually led to him getting that 3 ball that we know that he is so deadly at.
Campbell with 9. Dowd already nearly a double-double in the first half. 13 points, 8 rebounds. Troy connected on their final 7 shots from the floor to close out the first half. And they are having their way inside. A 26-8 points in the paint advantage. Back on the rebounding, and that's why they're up 13. Good start, though, to begin this second half. Georgia Southern with the takeaway.
Yeah, that's how they started the first half, getting themselves a couple of steals, getting some easy shots. Just like the first half, Tyron Moore opened it up for them.
This is the guy that can ignite the engine for Georgia Southern.
He definitely is. I mean, he can make big shots into the shot clock situations, make it look easy.
He scored 40 in the win against Coastal Carolina earlier in this championship week. Campbell, feet set, left the shot short. Ball picked out of there by Koulibaly. They have changed that last shot from Moore from a 3 to a 2. So an 11-point lead for the Trojans. Moore dashing his way into the lane. Back-to-back buckets for the graduate. from Louisville.
That was next level English right there on that backboard.
Dowd hesitated. That allowed Burney to come down and collapse, and a tie-up and a quick start for Georgia Southern out of the locker room.
That's exactly what they needed, but you see here, Tyron Moore getting to the basket. Look at that level of English he put on that backboard. That is a tough finish.
What a story it's been for Tyron Moore. It's his second stint with Georgia Southern. He played here in 2023 and 24, started 29 games for the Eagles, led the team before he hit the portal last year. Spent a season at UAB, mainly coming off the bench. Really missed Statesboro, came back home, and they were happy to welcome him back. Burney with the soft hands, and don't look now. The Cinderella story has cut it to single digits.
Yeah, it just took them a half to wake up. They have really stepped it up on the defensive end, gotten themselves 3 stops, able to find a way to get the ball in their possession. That's what they needed, more possessions, and that comes from their defense.
Burney gives Bellamy a taste of his own medicine, and a foul up top, getting a piece of the wrist. I think it was Campbell. Cooper Campbell with the foul as we go back to the play by Burney.
Yeah, Burney has been the dark horse for Georgia Southern on the defensive end, getting stops, crashing the boards, being the everything guy for Georgia Southern on both ends of the floor.
12 points, 11 rebounds in the semifinals for Burney. His first career double-double plus 3 block shots in 25 minutes. Strong start out of the gates. Here is a long 3 by Moore. He has hit those this year.
Oh yeah, we've seen him, and he makes it look easy.
Who will Troy go to, facing a little bit of adversity and a reach by Coulibaly as they tried to hit the back door, a play that they have certainly coded throughout the course of the night.
Yeah, Coulibaly is installed as the defensive enforcer for Georgia Southern. Even though he gives up a handful of inches to Dowd, he is tasked with guarding him and trying to make life terrible for him at times.
Dowd will challenge Applewhite, and he will get 2 free throws. Good play there by Thomas Dowd.
Yeah, great action there, getting him right there in the center of the floor, so he didn't have to take too many dribbles and get himself there. Just catch it, take a couple, go up.
Thomas Dowd could have hit the portal last year. He put up numbers, and he was drawing a lot of attention from across the country, but he told us he never thought about leaving. Everything that he's ever wanted in college basketball right there in Troy. We have you covered on Selection Sunday once again. It all starts at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific with SportsCenter on ESPN as Reese and the guys look at the men's field of 68 as the brackets are announced, followed by bracketology and breakdowns of each region. At 8, the women's field of 68 is revealed with a complete breakdown of each match at 9 Eastern. 1 of 2 for Dowd at the line. Troy by 8, opening 3 minutes of the second half. Southern looking for their first Sun Belt title in program history. Troy looking to defend the title from a year ago. Shot clock to 5. Moore had it ripped back, pried at, and stolen away. Dowd eyes up court. His pass intercepted. Coulibaly never gave up trailing. Here goes Moore. Full head of steam. High up into the air. Dowd might have got a piece of it. And Applewhite got a piece of Dowd, getting a little bit more physical.
Yes, that's something that you could definitely tell that Coach Henry and company talked about in that halftime. The fact that they had to match the physicality, match the intensity of Troy.
Second foul on Applewhite. Kyrie Dunn is going to check into the game. Tyron Moore will take a seat. 7 points for Moore, but it has been his energy to start this second half, which has really lit up his team, and they are back into it. Continual switching up defensively as they work the screen back and forth with Campbell. Victor Valdez picked up by Coulibaly, spins his way in, and Coulibaly is third steal. Active hands.
You see why he is the defensive staple for this team. A lot of offenses go opposite of where he is on the floor.
Defense turns into offense, and Cross and Troy have seen enough. Timeout, Trojans.
Coulibaly passing. Nice little ghost action. Steps into it with confidence and knocks it down. Huge three for Georgia Southern.
It is a 10-1 run by Georgia Southern out of the gates to start this second half.
Yeah, we started with Tyron Moore instilling himself into the offense early. Andres Burney cleaning up the boards, and then we saw Coulibaly hit a clutch three to give his team some spirit and momentum.
You take a look at this number, that is less than 1%. I'm not a mathematician, but the odds are not in your favor with this type of number if you're Georgia Southern to begin the year.
Yeah, well, they've been defying odds all tournament, doing whatever it takes to get themselves to this moment, and now they're just going to let the chips fall as they may.
Yeah, they're playing with house money.
12 at 19:35 was ruled a two-point basket on the floor. After replay, it has been upgraded to a three-point basket.
So we thought it was a three initially. They ruled it a two, but they go back during the break, and that was the Tyron Moore shot, so an additional point. Give Moore the three-pointer, and it's a two-possession game. What's Troy need to do to get back to what they were accomplishing in the first half?
They got to get back to high percentage shots. It's always going to be a game of runs, but right now they have struggled to get any type of offensive fluidity going.
Keel for three, bingo. Off the bench, Carrington Keel.
And that's a big shot from Keel, but you can't feel comfortable with how he got the shot off. There was a deflection, a fight for the ball, and he luckily got open to get that shot off.
Tyree Dunn rotates it to Applewhite. Started his career in the SEC. Applewhite, boy, that was smooth.
Yeah, that's what makes Applewhite such a threat. He can play multiple positions. That means multiple positions have to guard him. There he had Bellamy, who is a post defender, had to play out there on the perimeter against him, and that island is lonely.
The defensive intensity by Coulibaly, incredible in this second half. Georgia Southern, a completely different team on the defensive end.
Yeah, Keel stepping into it. It was definitely a needed and necessary three. But with that being said, you see Applewhite getting to his bag and getting to the basket.
Timeout in the action. Troy by 5. This week, ESPN's Champ Week presented by Principal continues as the ACC tournament revs up. The action starts on Tuesday, goes all the way through the weekend. Be sure to tune in. Take a look at the field. Opening round tomorrow. Virginia Tech, Wake, SMU, Syracuse, Stanford, and Pitt. Duke earning the top seed. Virginia, the number 2 seed. The ACC action kicking off tomorrow. A fun one in the Fun Belt from Pensacola. 42-37 Troy. 12-4 run by Georgia Southern in the opening 5 minutes of this second half. And it has been the defensive tone that Charlie Henry's squad has really put a priority in since coming out of the locker room. In particular, number 9 in blue, Coulibaly.
Yeah, Jefferson Coulibaly has been tough to deal with, and really what they've done is they put him on Cooper Campbell, trying to cut the head off the snake.
Acrobatic move by Campbell as he's able to score, tumbling down to the hardwood.
Yeah, we talked about Kobe Campbell being a sniper for Troy, but he has shown his ability to put the ball on the deck and get to the basket.
Spud Webb piercing his way through on a late whistle, and
goaltend probably.
See if they count the basket. They will. Goaltending the call. Kobe Campbell walking it up the floor. He has Bellamy, the big man, along with Dowd, his brother Cooper Campbell. Keel, the 5th Trojan on the floor. Keel has it. He'll measure up a 3. This one won't fall for him. And the rebound inside, a push-off. See what they call it on. I think it's going to be on Applewhite, John.
Yeah, I mean, he was fighting for his life down there with Dowd, who has a motor that is unparalleled. I mean, he constantly fights to get second chance opportunities. Right now, Troy's struggling to get their offense going. You got to have guys like Dowd who can keep the ball in possession alive.
Tavian White gets his first action of the second half. Guess who? It's Coulibaly again. Bounces it. Bernie lost it. Tried to spin his way into the lane. Lost it at the last second. Here's Troy. Here's Dowd. 3-pointer, no. Ball kept alive in a second chance opportunity.
It's getting harder and harder to score. Georgia Southern's defense can really constrict your offense out there.
Collision as Keel descended toward the basket. Coulibaly with the foul. That is going to be his 4th foul. So trouble brewing for the Spark, the Canadian from Montreal.
Yeah. You don't need Coulibaly in foul trouble, especially what he's been able to bring to the table defensively. When he is out there on the floor, he is a difference maker, really making it tough for whoever he's on Troy's offense to get anything going.
I really missed him earlier this year. He missed over a month because of an injury. He came back on January 10th in the game against South Alabama. Bellamy nearly threw it down. Spud Webb, he's a brave man trying to slow down the home run hitter, Bellamy.
Sean, you saw me clear my throat. You heard it. It's about to be a dun-na-na.
Spud Webb has more courage than I do. He hung in there, and he's going to make Bellamy earn them from the foul line. Gerald Bellamy spins it up and out, no good. 3rd year with Troy, spent a couple of years at Chattahoochee Valley Community College. And the praise that Scott Cross had for this young man a couple of weeks ago when we chatted about his athleticism, and Cross says he's one of the best athletes I've ever coached.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the guy plays above the rim, gives you an advantage out there on the floor.
Big minutes once again for Bellamy. Scott Cross without one of his starters for the 5th straight game. Theo Sang, who's averaging double-digit points this year, 13 points per game. He is out with a knee injury. They're hoping that if they can win this championship game, that he might have a shot at being a part of March Madness. But we'll wait and see how that plays out. Rehabbing each and every day, hoping to get a chance. 6-point Troy lead. Approaching 7 minutes into the second half. Campbell will pick up the defense in the backcourt. Dunn off the screen, takes it into the lane with the Euro. Too strong, 1 and done. Dowd pulls down his 10th rebound of the night. Another double-double for Thomas Dowd. Lob inside, not sure what happened there. Dunn went the opposite direction, and Bellamy won't have an easier bucket all year.
No, Dunn's trying to box him out, keep him outside of that death area in the paint, and honestly, just lost his footing there.
Great hustle by Campbell. He gets down and dirty. Here is Dowd. Valdez to the hoop. Count it. A chance for the 3-point play.
Ooh, some pushing going on there. Tyron Moore and Valdez. Something was said. See there, Dowd, Campbell getting in the mix. Dowd was able to start the break, hit Valdez. Valdez uses his body, finishes strong. see there. A little lion roar. And Satirov. You can see Tyron Moore did not like it.
Even though it's sunny and you have the beach and all the pageantry of Pensacola, you get into this competition, into a championship game like this, in what has been a wild year in the Sun Belt. Regular season champion was decided on the final night. It was a night in which we had a scenario where as many as 9 teams had an opportunity to possibly lock up one of the top 2 seeds. We were talking, we have never seen anything like it as far as the parity goes in the Sun Belt this season.
That's what makes this conference so fun to watch. You never know what you're going to get with these teams, and they're so well coached.
Following the review, we have a common foul on Georgia Southern, number 7. We're going to score that basket. After the made basket, we have a double technical foul. We have one on Georgia Southern, number 12, and one on Troy, number 11. We will shoot the free throw and play off the free throw.
All right, nice job by our officiating crew. Byron Jarrett, Stephen Anderson, Will Howard. So Valdez barking after the play, and then you saw the response from Tyron Moore, so they are going to tee up both those players. And as the 2 teams come back from the huddle, it is Moore and Valdez continuing the conversation.
Yeah, Valdez has a little spirit to him. And sometimes you got to have a leader like Dowd to kind of bring the Tiger back in the cage.
Loose ball foul on Troy. It is Thomas Dowd coming over the back. So Troy, you look up at the scoreboard, back up double digits after Georgia Southern had fought ferociously to start the second half. They had it down to 4, but it's ballooned back up to 10. White directing traffic. Moore bounces it left side. 3 ball by Satirov. Moore into the corner. This is Applewhite. He's had a tough night shooting from beyond the arc. Up ahead, Cooper Campbell. He draws a lot of attention. That frees up a lane for Dowd and blocked, but White got a piece of him. And free throws coming up. McCavian White with the foul. That is going to be his second. Troy back up double digits. It will be Dowd at the foul line when we come back.
Every March, millions of people experience bracket brain.
It's ESPN's Champ Week presented by Principal, and the action continues tonight out west. Teams compete for the right to play for the WCC Championship. First, Gonzaga takes on Oregon State at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Then St. Mary's and Santa Clara get together 11:30 Eastern on ESPN2. A wonderful time of the year, basketball, Champ Week. All roads leading to the NCAA tournament. Who will be the representative from the Sun Belt? A lot to sort out over the next 12 minutes. Troy by 10, Thomas Dowd at the foul line. Dowd in his 3rd year as a starter. He used last year's NCAA game, the loss to Kentucky, as a driving force, a motivator this past offseason. He was 0 for 7 in that game against Kentucky, and he said that weighed on him for a couple of months. And would he love a chance at redemption in a couple of weeks?
Absolutely, and you've got to have those types of situations, those failures that lead to winning later on down the road. It's how you develop as an individual, as a man.
He's doing his part tonight. 16 points, 11 rebounds. Spun Webb finds his teammate, open three, and that one clangs off. Clean look for Sadet Satirov. Southern, after a sizzling start to the second half, they have not scored in more than 3 minutes.
You can see that Georgia Southern's offense has also struggled out there.
Valdez, a quick trigger. Dowd, active feet, hustling after the loose ball, unable to do so, and he landed hard on his elbow. And a team that's already without his best buddy and roommate, Theo Sang, who's nursing a knee injury. There is Sang, who has put together a career year, his first season as a full-time starter.
Yeah, he brings a lot to the table that Troy is missing, especially in today's game. Ability to rebound, he can get isolations in the short corner. He's huge for them.
Campbell. Troy fans not happy as we take another look. Webb going baseline. What do you think, John?
I'm going to have to say no, sir. As physical as this game has been, I mean, he hit the wrist, but I've seen worse in today's game.
Webb gets to the foul line. First one up and in. Southern team that was 23 of 29 in the win against the Thundering Herd from the free throw line. And Webb was the main guy. He was 13 of 14.
He was a beast out there, just really getting to his spots whenever he wanted him. Coach Henry talked about it, making it a point of emphasis to get him the ball in that second half as much as possible.
Great kick out by Dowd. Valdez misses. Cross the offensive rebound. He's checked back into the game.
You see, those are those rebounds that Georgia Southern has to have. It's so tough, though, because of Troy's offense gives them the opportunity to get second chance opportunities.
How did he get that shot off? Cooper Campbell.
He's so good around the basket. I mean, he just makes the right decisions. You'd never want to truly jump and get off the air against him because he might find the open man.
Applewhite cannot find the touch. One and done for Georgia Southern. Troy sensing a little bit of momentum back on their side. They will pump on the brakes. Scott Cross wanting to set up a play. Bellamy a decoy. He drew a lot of the attention. That cleared up. Dowd. Everybody came flying out high, and they forgot about Mr. Dowd.
Yeah, Valdez is such a crafty passer. He really does find the open man at all times. But I'm going to tell you something about Troy's offense being able to start working now. Coulibaly is out of the game, and because he is out of the game, Troy's offense looks smoother.
Alternating possession favoring Troy as you take another look.
Yeah, Valdez, almost a no-look there. Beautiful pass. Great finish from Dowd.
Good move here by Coach Charlie Henry, as you were talking about, John. He senses this game is escaping him a little bit, so he's going to have to roll the die with Coulibaly. He checks back into the game with the 4 fouls. Number 9 in blue.
And the question is, can Coulibaly... Ooh.
Did you clear your throat on that one?
No, man, I didn't have time.
Mr. Bellamy, his neighborhood. 57-41. Coulibaly a quick fake. Spud Webb looks over his options. Back into the corner. Good closeout by Kobe Campbell. 10 on the shot clock. Moore. Excellent ball rotation. There's the 3. That's what Olden Applewhite's been waiting for.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. He's had some good looks, a couple of rim outs. That time he was able to get himself in the rhythm, hit a big shot.
Applewhite's going to come out, pressure the ball. Valdez, you see some of the versatility he has as a big man. This guy weighs 240 pounds, 6 feet 7 inches tall, handling the ball. Down to the corner, cross, 3 ball, money. That doesn't even crack a smile from his father, head coach Scott Cross.
He can't. He can't. He doesn't want to show any favoritism out there.
Webb gets it right back. Georgia Southern says, we're not going away. We've worked too hard this week.
They are competing. Competing.
Not in a position to keep exchanging baskets, though. They're going to need some stops. Webb's going to come out aggressively on Valdez. This has been one of the tweaks for Cross, and a kick by Webb as the two teams head back for some regrouping. A fun one from Pensacola tonight. Troy by 13, and the big guy doing it all. Attacking the basket, leaving it, and Bellamy finishing. Unselfish basketball. Cross connects from downtown. Troy up 13. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let's build a retirement and benefits plan that works for your team. The plan that Scott Cross has put into place at Troy is certainly working for his team, and a Sunbelt that has been built around different champions over the last 5 years. 5 schools, 5 championships. Troy a little more than 7 minutes away from changing that type of trajectory and trend.
Yeah, I mean, you just see the parity in this league. It can be anybody's game, anybody's championship. It's all about peaking at the right time during tournament play.
Campbell brothers, Bellamy, Cross, and Dow, the 5 out there for Troy. It's Webb, Birney, White, Applewhite, and Koulibaly, the 5 on the floor for Georgia Southern. Cross, step back, 3 up, unleashed it, Dow, another offensive rebound. Being ambushed inside, and they call a tie-up, jump ball, and the arrow favors Georgia Southern.
You can see that the Troy fans are livid. Dowd working hard, getting positioning, gets the offensive rebound. A lot of active hands around him. What do you think about that, Sean?
I know what Scott Cross thinks about it. Still upset, still vocalizing his displeasure.
You never know those. Scott Cross always has that scowl.
He does. We cracked a smile from him a couple of weeks ago.
We did. We were in his office, caught him in a vulnerable moment.
He's quite an office decorator. You wouldn't guess it, but on his wall, he prints these T-shirts after every win, and they all have a different theme. Nobody home. White got caught in no man's land. There was nobody to bail him out. He might have another T-shirt to add when he returns back home. A lot of talk around his name, possibly making a move up from the mid-major level. We saw a bunch of them last year. Will he be the next Will Wade? Went from McNeese to NC State, Bucky McMillan. Only time will tell. Valdez, he's been way more active in the second half.
He is a fantastic coach, puts his guys in the right places on the floor, demands buy-in from his guys. I mean, you could understand why he would be highly touted out there.
Trying to reach around the backside, he poked it away. Georgia Southern will throw it in underneath. Here comes Tyron Moore back into the lineup for Coach Henry. Koulibaly will take a seat, playing with the 4 fouls. It's go time if you're an Eagle, down 15. This is the largest lead of the night for Troy. Spud Webb waiting for Moore to come back to it. Moore loses Campbell, pumps up the 3, and Valdez underneath grabs the rebound. Going to be a tough out if Troy shoots 57% from the floor like they have tonight. They have owned the paint. 2-to-1 advantage, 38-16 points in the paint. They lead the glass as well by 12 after they beat Georgia Southern by 13 in that category in their first meeting. Dowd with the offensive foul.
Yeah, that's one of those possessions where if you see Bellamy posting up a smaller Tyron Moore, you got to get him the rock there instead of going up against 3 blue jerseys.
Boy, that one had to sting. Tyron Moore caught the crown of the head right into his nose.
Yeah, I mean, crown and shoulder. He already gives up about 4 or 5 inches to Dowd.
Spud Webb challenging Campbell, and he gets the bounce here at Pensacola.
Spud Webb is so tough to deal with out there, especially with a smaller Campbell on him. He knows that he can finish above him.
Webb into double figures with 12. Bellamy soars to make the catch, has the size advantage on Webb. He will turn and score.
And Bellamy giving Webb a taste of his own medicine, using his size advantage over him.
What's been so impressive with Bellamy, he doesn't play beyond his means. 6 of 9, very efficient from the floor tonight, coming off the heels of a 9 for 14 game. He understands his role, and he knows where he can impose his will and inflict the damage.
Yeah, right there. I mean, he just plays within the system, understanding he had the matchup discrepancy and took full advantage of it.
Cooper Campbell committing the foul, his 3rd, the 6th on Troy. Webb in the act of shooting will get a pair of free throws. You look at the Sun Belt, 5 consecutive years, they've had at least 4 teams win 20 games. Now Troy, of the group, the only team to do it all 5 seasons, 5 straight years. Quite an accomplishment for Scott Cross, who had a long career at UT Arlington, 18 seasons guiding the program, winningest coach in that program's history, and he has brought the winning ways to Troy. Kobe Campbell bounces it underneath. 2 more for Gerald Bellamy, and the Stars just blossoming in Pensacola this week.
It's just tough to deal with. I mean, you saw there, Georgia Southern threw their trap defense at Troy, but Troy does such a wonderful job of moving the ball. It just looked like they were just scattering without a purpose.
Kavian White. Bellamy got a piece of it, and White will toe the line.
Yeah, that's what Georgia Southern has to do at this point. With 4 minutes, 10 seconds to go, they've got to get to the free throw line. They've got to stop the clock. They have to get back on defense and get set, prepared for Troy's offense.
Georgia Southern aspirations tonight, trying to get back into the NCAA for the first time since 1992. They have been to the NCAAs 3 times in the past. It's interesting. Look at the 50-year history of the Sun Belt and the run that Georgia Southern had. Orchestrated by that man right there, Charlie Henry, was the first time that a program as a double-digit seed battled through the 14-team conference tournament.
Yeah, what I'll say is, even though Georgia Southern is the 10th seed, I think everybody in the conference knew that they were better than what they were. Their record showed.
3-ball good. A foul away from the action as Moore hit the deck. And again, we get some more barking back and forth, so a lot to sort out here. It happened away from the action.
Yeah, you could see Valdez pushing Bellamy away from all the friction that was happening in the interior.
All Thomas Dowd cares about is that they count his basket. Saw him walk into the huddle.
The previous play is under review.
So they are going to take another look at it. We will step aside as they break down what we just saw. Will the 3 count? Will there be a foul? Troy up 13. Hey, can't wait for that one. Thank you very much, Phil. You take a look at some of the tickets that have been punched. Long Island, Tennessee State. How about the run by UNI? The Panthers from the Missouri Valley Conference. High Point. They had their way. Queens and the Bison of North Dakota State. We are 3 minutes, 48 seconds away from adding another team to the list, the representative from the Sun Belt. So, John, a lot to break down during that last time out.
Right.
Following review, we have a made basket by Troy, a successful three-point basket. After the successful three-point basket, we have a flagrant foul, penalty 1 on Troy, number 10. Number 12 for Georgia Southern will shoot 2 shots, and Georgia Southern will receive the ball on the end line with 30 on the shot clock.
So they tag Bellamy with the foul, his 4th. 3 good for Dow. That puts him at 21 points tonight, and will be Tyron Moore at the foul line once the dust settles on that last fray. Moore splashes in both free throws. Another huge night for the first team all Sun Belt performer, Thomas Dow. 21 points, 12 rebounds. Entering this tournament, he was just one of 9 players across the country this season with at least 450 points and 300 rebounds.
It's special, man. I mean, because of a lot of the times he circulates offense through his ability to rebound the ball. That's what makes him so special. And what he does is he can circulate offense not only for himself but his teammates by keeping the ball alive. And he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands to do it.
Georgia Southern's going to have to come out, played a little bit more aggressively. Coulibaly with the 4 fouls on Kobe Campbell. Troy methodically working the shot clock down. Valdez sees an opening and he takes full advantage.
Yeah, this group has just been a pick-your-poison type of team in today's game. Whether it's Dowd or Valdez or Campbell, somebody's getting active down there. And you see there, Valdez able to get all the way to the basket and draw himself a foul.
It's been a different Victor Valdez in this second half. 10 points, 6 assists.
You can tell he's played in the professional realm, just understands the game and how to take what the defense is giving him offensively.
One and done for Georgia Southern, running out of time inside 3 minutes to go. Big crowd tonight from Pensacola Bay Center on a gorgeous Monday evening here in Pensacola. A lot of spring break crowd in town. Bellamy, quick turn, release. Mr. Dowd says, I'll finish it from here.
Yeah. Thomas Dowd everywhere on the floor. Constantly working to get himself second chance opportunities.
You see why Scott Cross says if he had a Mount Rushmore of players that he has coached in his long tenure, no matter where he's been, Thomas Dowd's face would be front and center.
Yeah, he says that he is the absolute heart and hustle of this Troy team. I mean, that's a lot, especially with Coach Cross coaching as long as he has coached and has seen a lot of tough, hard-rocking dudes. He said that Thomas Dowd is at the very tippity top.
It's a big Dowd family. He is one of 11 children. And that was a priority for him to stay close to home, a tight-knit group.
And that's why, even though he looks unassuming, you think that you'd be able to throw this kid around, right? You cannot. It's because he's got siblings. He's been bullied before. He knows how to fight.
I had 4, and it was tough to get food once in a while.
Let me tell you. Those big families, man, they know how to squabble.
Inside 2 minutes to go. Georgia Southern's going to have to come out, commit the foul. And Official doing a good job making sure the two teams head off into their respective corners. Georgia Southern in this magical run that they have had this week, it might be running on fumes right now. Trouble brewing for the Eagles here from Pensacola. So no foul on that last play. They decided that the timeout was called before the contact. So Troy to keep possession. They will trigger in along the far side. Trying to put the finishing touches on this one. Georgia Southern led only once tonight. That was the first basket of the game, a three-pointer by Tyron Moore. Ever since then, it's been Troy. Campbell fires just as the shot clock sounded. Eagles rushing into the front court with Spud Webb. Webb, a big jump spot, finds White. Three ball up. Pinballs off the back iron. Applewhite, great energy, tried to save it. Just runs out of real estate.
You've got to appreciate the heart of Applewhite fighting for that second chance. Not enough.
You can hear this crowd. They are coming to their feet. They sense it. Another Sun Belt title, another trip to the NCAA. A regular season that came down to the final night. Troy wasn't sure how it was going to sort out. All they cared about was taking care of their business.
Yeah, starts in the regular season.
Down the center of the lane. Campbell pushes it off the window for two.
Yeah, they were able to reward themselves by getting that one seed. That one seed allotted them the rest necessary to be able to go out, heal up, be properly prepared, go out there and compete.
A double-double for Dowd, 23 points, 13 rebounds. Bellamy, 15 points. Valdez adds 10. And Scott Cross is going to give his starters the bow that they deserve in front of a large crowd that traveled 2.5 hours to watch the top seed defend the regular season title and defend the tournament title from a year ago.
Yeah, it's a lot of Troy apparel in here.
So let's talk the next step for Troy and the challenges that this team will present someone when the brackets are unveiled.
I'm gonna tell you something. You don't want that smoke, man. This is one of those teams that can be treacherous for those, I think, those teams that would look over there at that layup line and think it's fresh daisies and cinnamon. But then all of a sudden you see this team moving the ball. Their defense is stingy. They're able to create offense for multiple players on the floor. If Singh comes back and he's able to contribute, they could make some noise in the NCAA tournament.
Emmanuel Clarton checking into the game. The Campbell brothers with the flamboyant red hair, affectionately called the Red Mambas.
The Red Mambas, and you see why. I mean, they have been extremely deadly this entire year.
Georgia Southern will close out the year 21-16, but their efforts will not be forgotten about. The run that they put on has never been seen in the history of the Sun Belt. 5 wins over 5 days. But playing with house money tonight, it was not in the cards for Georgia Southern. Troy shoots a blistering 59% from the floor. And they become the 6th team in Sun Belt history to repeat as tournament champions. The Troy Trojans, your 2026 Sun Belt champs. In a year in the Sun Belt Conference that saw a literal logjam. Troy, the regular season champ at 12-6, and then 6 teams a mere 1 game back. Troy, the top seed, delivered the win in the semifinals last night. 78-70 win over Southern Miss, and they take down Georgia Southern for the 2nd time this year.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to tip your hat off to this Troy team. Just a great story, great program, great coach. I look forward to seeing them go dancing.
Again, our final score here in Pensacola Bay Center, 77-61, Troy over Georgia Southern. We're tossing it to Jordan Burnfield, Randolph Childress, Detroit Mercy, Robert Morris. That's coming up next. Congratulations to Troy. They are your 2026 Sun Belt champs. For John Williams, our entire crew, this is Sean Kinney saying thanks for watching from Pensacola. Jordan and Randolph, it's Detroit Mercy, Robert Morris. Show is yours.
So, I think just really honing in on all of our values and all the things that we practice every day,